Hello class, I am Mr. Puller. I am one of the librarians. I have made this video for Dr. Griffin's English 1301 students, specifically for one class that has not been able to come into the library to receive instruction on how to find information for your argumentative paper and how to cite it correctly. So in this video, I am going to provide instructions. I'm also going to email this video along with links to other videos that you will want to watch in order to ensure that you are able to use all of the library's resources. So when I mention another video tutorial, be sure to look in the email in which you received this, this video for links to those other video tutorials. Okay, so you have a research paper assignment. I have a copy of that right here on my screen. This is the argumentative research paper, and it's due noon on April 3rd. You are supposed to decide your subject, and Dr. Griffin has suggested many topics here that you can choose from. You can also choose your own topic. There are, however, certain prohibited topics, and you should definitely not choose one of these. Dr. Griffin is tired of reading papers about these topics, so you should find another one of your own in which you have received approval of from Dr. Griffin, or one of these. These are just suggestions right here. You're going to introduce your topic, you're going to introduce your paper, you're going to take a stand, you're going to say what you think, and then you're going to provide evidence to support your position. You're also going to include a refutation. That is a very important part. There are different sides of a controversy, and you will need to describe what that other side is, the opposite of whatever side you are taking, and why you think that other side is incorrect. So be sure to read all of these instructions. You should probably read all of these instructions before you even begin writing your paper. Okay, so let's do some research. We're going to begin at the college's homepage at www.lonestar.edu. Once you're on the college's homepage, you're going to click on Libraries here on the right. Just click on Libraries. And we're going to look at some research databases. Click on Research Databases here on the left. We have a video tutorial that introduces students to our library databases. You should find a link of it along with the inside the email in which you received this this video tutorial. So be sure to watch that video introduction to the library's research databases. That will be especially helpful to you if you are trying to access these databases and complete your research off campus. Okay, so we are going to go to the category marked Current Issues. And we're going to begin with the subcategory Topic Overviews. Click on Topic Overviews. And we're going to go to Issues and Controversies. Click on Issues and Controversies. And you should also find in the email which you encountered this video a link to our video introduction to our video tutorial on issues and controversies. It is a little bit out of date. I should update it. The interface has changed a little bit. Fortunately, the interface for issues and controversies is fairly intuitive. I love this database. It's a beautifully well-designed, well-developed database for this type of research for students who are exploring controversial issues about which there are arguments. You can search with this search bar up here at the top. Now, we're going to address a complex issue at this point. So, library databases are not necessarily as intuitive, or shall we say, as intelligent as Google. You generally cannot type in a sentence into a database and get relevant search results. Let me give you an example. Here's our list of suggested topics. I'm going to copy, let's say, this one. Should the government use invasive pat-downs and body scans to ensure passenger safety, or are there better methods? I'm going to copy and paste that into the search bar, and I'm going to click on search. Okay, the database has returned 240 results, which is a lot, but they're not really all that useful, are they? They don't appear to be about this topic. Let me explain why. When you type in search terms into a database, you are not telling the database, give me information about this subject. The database isn't intelligent enough to understand that. When you type in search terms into a database, what you are usually telling the database is return articles that contain these words. So if you type in a whole sentence into a database search function, you're telling the database that any article that is returned must have each and every one of these words. If it does not have each and every one of these words, it should not return it as a search result. There could be plenty of very useful articles about the subject of airline security and airport security and what methods are used to ensure airline passenger safety, but they don't use these particular words or all of them. So when you are developing search terms, or as we call it in the library business, keywords, you need to take your topic and break it down into as few basic search concepts as possible. So this subject, this sentence, should the government use invasive pat-downs and body scans to ensure passenger safety, or are there better methods? All of this relates to the topic of airport security. Airport security. Probably any article that talks about the different security methods put in place by the Transportation Security Administration at airports in the United States are going to use the word airport and the word security somewhere in it. Probably. So when you develop keywords, you take your concept and you boil it down into, you take your topic and you boil it down into the most core central concepts. And hopefully concepts that use words that are used by this database. I'm going to go ahead and click on search. Okay, now that we appear to have more relevant search results. Airport full body scanners. Should full body scanners be used in US airports? That appears to be relevant, so let's go and click on that title. Okay, here is our article. Now, one of the wonderful things about this database is that at the very top, the database describes, this article describes the major arguments on both sides of the controversy. It summarizes the major positions. So for the refutation portion of your essay, you can refer to and cite the argument on the other side. These articles and issues and controversies introduce the concept of, introduce the controversy to students. It's a great way of getting started in learning about a controversial subject. So I'm a big fan of this database. The only challenge in using this database is that keeping articles is a little tricky. If you want to email, print, or download an article, you're going to scroll to the top and you're going to click on Page Tools. And here are some options for printing the article, for downloading the article, or for sharing the article. In this case, sharing means email. This is how you would email an article to yourself. All right, so these are different ways of saving an article. I want to do one more sample search in this database so that we can address another issue within the subject of keywording. One of the other topics is, should spanking be outlawed? I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that into the search bar. Should spanking be outlawed? And we search for that. And we see absolutely nothing. Does that mean there are no articles about spanking in this database? No, not necessarily. Some databases prefer to use other words to describe the same concept. So when you're developing keywords, it can be helpful to think about synonyms for those same concepts. Spanking, in terms of, let's say, parents or other authority figures spanking their children, is a form of corporal punishment. So if we type in corporal punishment, and we search, then we find many articles on this topic. So sometimes a database has useful information. You just have to search for your concept using different terms, maybe even terms you don't commonly use. So if you search for something in a database and you would think a database would have something on it, but it doesn't, then try synonyms and see if anything comes up. Another thing you want to watch out for are the dates listed on these articles. For example, this article right here, our first search result, seems like it could be super relevant if you are researching corporal punishment. However, notice it was published in December 22nd, 2016. It's more than 12 years old. In many controversial subjects, information can go out of date rapidly because controversies can change over time. That will vary from one topic to another. But for this project, you probably should avoid any article or any source of information that's over 5 years old, especially any sort of statistical information. You don't want to use any source of information that is no longer accurate because it's not current. So try to keep your search results, try to use your information sources to those published within the past 5 years. Okay, let's look at another database. We're going to go back to our list of current issues databases, which should be one of the tabs or windows still open in your web browser. So we're going back to our list of current issues and news databases. And we're going to go to the category marked articles. Click on articles, and then click on Academic Search Complete. Academic Search Complete. This is Academic Search Complete, which is another library database, just like Issues and Controversies. But in some ways, it's very different from Issues and Controversies. Issues and Controversies is a very specific database. It's tailored toward one task: to help college students and high school students find information and arguments about current controversial issues, especially within the United States. Academic Search Complete is different. Academic Search Complete is a collection of newspaper, magazine, and scholarly journal issues on a wide variety of subjects, a very wide variety of subjects, whether they're controversial or not. It is, I like to call it the Walmart of library databases. It's got a little bit of everything, and it's a good search tool for finding information about controversial subjects. It just has to be handled differently. And you will see a video tutorial, a link to our video tutorial on using Academic Search Complete in the email in which you first encountered this video tutorial. The first thing that we're going to do is limit our search results to full text articles by checking out full text. We'll also want to limit our publication date to roughly the past 5 years. So we're going to type in 2014 and 2019. It's not necessary to add in a month. We're just trying to aim at generally the past 5 years. Now we're going to explore one of these topics listed here on your optional list of topics to consider. This one is interesting. Should zoos be shut down? Should zoos be shut down? Well, if we go to Academic Search Complete and type in should zoos be shut down, we get no search results. Again, because we are essentially communicating to the database, do not return articles unless they have each and every one of these words. And that's not going to work because there are probably articles about the issues, the ethical issues related to keeping zoos. They just don't use these particular words or all of these particular words. So if we're looking at the so we have to think like the database and communicate in a way that the database can understand. If we are looking at the controversial issue of zoos and some of the problems that occur in zoos, the treatment of animals, we are essentially looking at the issue of ethics. The domain of philosophy called ethics. Is something ethically good or ethically bad? So we could describe this topic as zoo and ethics. Zoo and ethics. So our original topic, should zoos be shut down, becomes translated into terms the database can understand. Zoo and ethics. By the way, I'm including the word and in our search string here, our search terms here, for a specific reason. This database tends to return phrase search results. That is, if we typed in zoo ethics, it would tend to only return articles that have the word zoo right next to the word ethics. And quite possibly there could be many articles that describe the ethics of maintaining zoos that don't happen to have those words right next to each other. If we separate our search terms with the word and, this tells the database to return articles that have the word zoo somewhere and the word ethics somewhere. So let's go ahead and click on search. And here are 13 articles on this subject. Let me see what this says. Number 2, this future of zoos. Let's go ahead and click on that article title. Here's the article record. This is a magazine article, appeared in the magazine Time. This is the author, Justin Worland. And here is a summary, also called an abstract. And it appears to be relevant as it's talking about the ethics of maintaining zoos. If we want to view the full text, you'll see our full text options listed on the left, HTML full text and PDF full text. Generally, if both are available, I prefer PDF full text because then you get to see pictures if they're available. And here is the full text of the article. All right. Just glancing at this article, it appears to address the ethical issues that relate to capturing wildlife and maintaining them in zoos. And specifically, it's looking at a particular zoo in Philadelphia. If you are writing your paper about the ethics of maintaining zoos, this would be a good article to consider. You definitely want to keep this. And again, our video tutorial on how to use Academic Search Complete will go over that in some detail. Now let's look back at Dr. Griffin's instructions for this assignment. If you scroll to Step 8. You'll see some very important instructions, and you will want to make note of them before you start writing your paper. You need to make copies of your sources and highlight within them where you found the information for your paper. You will, of course, cite your sources, but by doing this step, you will provide Dr. Griffin with the means to check your work. Dr. Griffin also has some specific source requirements, which, as a librarian, I greatly appreciate. I love these source requirements. You have to have at least 2 periodical articles, and probably Academic Search Complete and Issues and Controversies are going to take care of that for you. You will also need to get a book or an ebook. If you would like to get a print book, that is an actual book, you can I would suggest that you stop by the reference desk on the 3rd floor of the North Harris Library. Whenever the library is open, there's at least one librarian waiting at the reference desk and eager to help you. A librarian can help you find a book on your topic very quickly, and I urge you to do that if you can come to the campus library. And I'm not going to provide further instructions on searching for a book for your topic here, because a librarian on the spot can almost certainly do a better job with your particular topic. So I recommend you to stop by the library if you can. If you cannot come to the library, then you may wish to consider getting an ebook. Now let's go back to our list of research databases, which should be one of the tabs or windows still open in your web browser. And I'd like for you to scroll down until you get to the section marked eBooks. Here are 2 different ebook databases. These have electronic books. And there are 2 databases. There's the EBSCO eBook Collection and eBook Central. They sound very similar, but they're different databases. They're made by different and competing companies. You will find in this email video tutorials on each one of those databases. And those video tutorials describe how you can download ebooks onto your device. Personally, I find the ebook downloading system painfully hard to use. Unfortunately, it's not necessary. You can just view ebooks online without checking any of them out. You can find the information that you need. As an example, I'm going to open up eBook Central. And here is eBook Central. One of our topics is our beauty pageants exploitative. I'm going to try searching for that in the ebook database. So we're going to search for beauty pageant. Beauty pageant. Type in beauty pageant and click on search. And here are our search results. I'm looking through the search results to see if there's anything that may be relevant. This is interesting. Pure Beauty, Judging Race in Japanese American Beauty Pageants. That could possibly be useful. Possibly even better is Being Miss America Behind the Rhinestone Curtain. Let's go ahead and click on that title. Click on Being Miss America. Now the video tutorial on ebook. Now the video tutorial on eBook Central is going to cover using this database in more detail. So I'm going to assume that you have already watched that video tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and click on Read Online. Okay, so here is the book page by page. I'm going to use the search within the book function to see if I can trigger certain pages and sections that may be relevant, such as controversy. Let me see what I can find. Okay, yes. So this section appears to describe some controversies related to beauty pageants. I can also try searching for, let's say, feminist, because there's been a lot of feminist controversy of beauty pageants. See if we can come up with anything. This new type of feminist ferociously rejected the emphasis on physical beauty, demureness, and the traditional concept of a woman's proper place. Very good. This is the sort of content that you could use if you wanted to argue for or against beauty pageants, or at least address the controversy of beauty pageants. Okay, so now we have addressed using two periodical databases, Academic Search Complete and Issues and Controversies. And we have also looked at one of our two ebook databases, so you can find a book. I hope that this provides you with enough information of, if you follow these searches, if you search for your own topic in this manner, you'll be able to find enough information on your own individual topic. But the single most important thing I want to emphasize is, if you need help, please ask a librarian. You're welcome to email me. I'll be glad to work through a database search over the phone with you. You can always stop by the library and ask a librarian for one-on-one in-person help. We'll be glad to do that. If these search techniques are not working for you, please ask for help. I've spent years using these databases. I know them very well, but they're not necessarily intuitive for a lot of people. I can understand why some of these databases can be quite difficult to use. So if you're not finding what you need, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. In fact, you really should ask for help so you get all the information that you need for your research assignment. Now let's talk about documentation. We're going to go back to the list of databases, and we're going to scroll all the way to the top. And let's go ahead and click on Libraries. And click on LC North Harris here on the sidebar on the right. And then click on Citation Help right here in the upper left corner. So this is our page of resources designed to help you cite your sources. In Dr. Griffin's English 1301, you're required to use the APA style. Let's click on APA style. Right here is a link to our 7-minute video introduction to APA. You should watch the entire video carefully before you start writing your paper. Watch it all. Watch it all. It's a lot easier to cite correctly if you're doing it as you're writing your paper than trying to add citations in later. We also have a 2-page handout, which you're welcome to pick up at the library. We give them out for free. Just ask for the APA handout when you come up to the reference desk on the 3rd floor of the library, or you can get a digital copy right here. It's called 2010 APA 2-page short. This is a digital copy of our APA handout. If you use a print book that you find in the library, this is probably how you're going to cite it, right up here, print book by one author. If you cite an ebook that you found from one of our 2 databases, you're going to cite that as an ebook from a database without DOI, with no DOI. There are 2 ways of citing, and you should cite according to the LC North Harris Library Modified Standard. This is the model that you should follow if you are citing ebooks in the APA style while as a student at the North Harris campus. I can give you a long-winded explanation of why these 2 things are different, but the short version is use this one. Use this one as your model. If you use journal or magazine articles that you find in Academic Search Complete, you're going to cite it according to these examples. This is what you want to use. Okay, let's go back to the citation help guide. If you are not sure how to set up the formatting in Microsoft Word for APA, then I would suggest you download our Template to Word 2010. This file right here is a blank Word document with all of your MLA formatting already set up. It's got all of your APA formatting already taken care of. So you can just download this document file, this Word document file, and save it onto your computer and do a new file name. And then a lot of your formatting is already taken care of. So you should definitely try that. You should do that, and it's going to save you a lot of time. Dr. Griffin is a stickler for detailed, correct documentation. Every detail has to be correct. And we love her for it. We're so glad that she is so strict about it. If you would like help with documentation, please, 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 please ask. I urge you, before you turn in your paper, either email to me and ask for me to check your citations, or bring it to the library. Bring it to the 3rd floor of the North Harris Library and ask a librarian to check your citations. We will go through it carefully and make sure that all your documentation is correct. We'll be glad to do that, and that way you can get a perfect score on this paper assignment. You are very fortunate to have Dr. Griffin as your instructor. She teaches writing very well. Consistently, I see that her students end up at the end of English 1301 as top performing writers. The quality of the work is outstanding. So if you really put your heart into this assignment and you work really hard at it, you are going to greatly develop as a writer. You're going to be a much better writer, which is a life skill that will serve you very well. If you need any help finding information, if you need help citing your sources, please contact me. Please stop by the library, please stop by the reference desk on the 3rd floor of the North Harris Library. Whenever the library is open, there's always a librarian available and eager to help you.